Christian Key's story is really bothering me. However, I have to say this. Several years ago, we had a gentleman who came out and did the exact same thing Christian did, but he was seen as a joke. Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And I wanted to talk about Christian Key's live video a couple of days ago. For those who don't know who Christian Keys is, he is an actor. And he has actually played in multiple projects. I checked his IMDb page and he literally has over 60 projects. So he is definitely a working actor who has worked on TV, films, and plays that were low budget all the way to high budget projects. So he's definitely been in the industry for quite some time. And he came out with a video a couple of days ago talking about how not just one person, but he mentions actually several people who have SA'd him in this industry. And I'm going to play the clips, just some of the clips that actually stood out to me when he's talking about these incidents.
I want to say everything now. And I have proof. It's not like I'm just making false accusations. I intentionally let the statute of limitations expire. It's not about money, but I'm going to have to take the receipts, the recordings down to the police department and let them hear this individual. I wasn't working for him in the month and the year that he showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off. He said, "I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you naked." I declined because, again, scenic route. I got my integrity with me. I'll take the long way around. But being that I wasn't working with him and we were in my apartment, he had visited my apartment to offer me a job of this fall because the lead of this particular project was going to do something else, so he needed another lead. I recorded it because I didn't trust him, and I had told him over and over, and he still always tried shit. Just tried shit. So if people don't believe me, they can hear him in his voice. I have always kept something on me. Always. Even if my phone is off. Something else is, if I'm around somebody that has tried to nonsense, I've always kept something on me so I can protect myself, because if they're that powerful and they feel that entitled, then they can also try to get in the way of your work. I want to speak on it. I also want to keep making great things and creating jobs and opportunities. But, oh no, I got backups for the backups for the backups for the backups. I've watched way too many Jason Bourne movies not to have 15 backups. I can press play and you can hear the person and you'll know immediately who the person is that's offering me $100,000 to strip. Be clear. I thought This person was a brother type figure, a mentor type figure. But for you to continuously throw these opportunities, you know good and damn well all it ever was you pretending to be a mentor trying to get some ass. It's heavy on my heart, man, and I'm tired. And we around here deifying people that go out and do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna pay off this, and I'm gonna pay off that, and I'm gonna pay off that. But at the same time, these same people are predators. I'm not blaming myself for saying no. I'm not blaming myself for almost quitting acting. I'm just mad at me for not being brave enough to say something sooner. That's the only thing that I regret. I wish I'd have been brave enough. I'm him now. I know who I am. I know who God built me to be. And I'm not afraid of those consequences. My concern is that a lot of y'all are going to be like, man. And your immediate reaction is going to be like, oh, well, we got to protect our deity. We got to protect. It's going to have to happen. I'm interested to see which peers are mad at me because it may interfere with their work. But, yeah. You get a grown-ass man that knows that you're heterosexual and you're sleeping off Hennessy in his guest room because he says it's safe. Because I know I'm bent, so I'm after a big party. Won't say what type, won't say where. I'm asleep. I'm gone because I'm 4-5 Hennessy's deep and not short Hennessy's either. And this dude tries to climb into bed with you. So you spaz out, get ready to leave. He apologizes, blame it on the alcohol. And you try to forgive him. So you're like, all right, man. All right, I'm gone. You shake his hand on the way out, and he tries to grab your penis. He tries to shake and grab your equipment. And you spaz even more.
Now, those are just examples of some of the things that he said in the video that made people assume automatically who it was. Okay. He said he wasn't working for or with this person at that particular time. He said the person has a distinct voice. Okay. He also said that the person lead, there was I guess a male lead role, and the male lead ended up doing something else, so he needed another male lead. Okay, so this is why a lot of people are assuming. At the same time, other people are assuming that, well, it can't be this person because he's still working with him. Haven't we heard this before with the Harvey Weinsteins and other people, where people came out and were honest about their experience, but they were still working for these powerful people? So we can't count someone out simply because they're still working with them, or this person may be an EP on a project. Doesn't necessarily mean that that X's someone out, okay? But again, we don't have the names dropped yet, but this is why people are assuming, especially that they're talking about that particular person.
I was on a show, and if I had done what this actress did, just switching lanes, if I had done what she did, I'd never work again and I'd be in jail. She used to come up and pat me on the jump, like pat my penis, like, ooh, okay, I see that print. And I checked her. I grabbed her hand right away, checked her, like, what the fuck are you doing? That ain't okay. I'll do that shit. I'm going to jail. What are you doing? She did it again. Grabbed her hand. I was like, stop. That shit ain't funny. We're preparing for a scene. She walks past, cups my equipment, and was like, oh, you got some girth.
Now, I don't know if we'll ever figure this one out, but this one really bothers me because people seem to think that females can't be predators as well. And what he says is so disturbing. And he also mentions that the female executives on this show constantly told him just be pretty. Just kind of, in other words, just shut your mouth and be pretty. And he said, this is what females have gone through too. And I absolutely agree with him. So he said he didn't feel safe pretty much on this set and on this show to tell anyone because of how the executives were. So I'm really disturbed by this enough. Like this topic is not talked about enough. Females doing the same thing. And that could be female actually essaying another female, or a female essaying a man. I think this is something we need to discuss more and more, not just in this industry, but just in general. You have heard so many people thinking it's acceptable to have freaky tales with younger men who are underage, and they see it as the man should have a pat on his back because he was able to get an older woman. Just crazy things like that, where it's just like, if it was the other way around, like he said, he would be under the jail. So this one was really, all of it is disturbing, but this one I was just like, I hope at this point he definitely shares every single person that he's talking about, because she needs to be exposed as well.
It's not, yeah. And if you know me, then you know I'm a grown man. Don't call me pretty boy. That's some bullshit. So, yeah, I needed to vent and get some of this out of my system because there's a vitriol that you carry when you deal with this. And there's a trauma that comes with it because you never know. Like, okay, is this meeting legit? Or is this some bullshit? Is this another one of those meetings where you meet with a black billionaire businessman, and while my manager is there, everything is everything. I got my Kinko's presentation with the plastic cover on it. I paid good money on it. It's like good money. I'm running it down like you can invest in this, that, and the other. As soon as my manager leaves, he moves into a conference room, and I'm like, okay, it's a conference room. Nothing sketchy about this. Didn't realize that the doors on the side of the conference room right there led into his suite. He comes back in silk pajamas, silk robe, right as they're delivering strawberries and champagne. Now, I'm like, wait, whoa, this ain't that. I'm not him, and this ain't that. I'd love for you to invest in my company. He probably should have, because he would own a piece of all the Queen's Men. The books have already sold. The 6 or 8 books I'm about to release, all of that, he would have had a piece of all of that monetarily, but he didn't. He was thinking with his. He came back in, grabbed a strawberry, sat down, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving. You got my presentation. I'm gone." He's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, yes, I'm sure. I'm sure." He's like, "Are you sure?" That second, are you sure, means if you don't stay and do what I want, you're not going to get what you're hoping for. Now, this particular guy is out here paying tuition for entire classes of HBCUs after this sketchy shit. Want to air him out too. I'm just tired of carrying this bullshit with me.
Now, the first person he mentioned He mentioned he was working with him, had worked with him before. This person, he's talking about someone investing in his company. Okay. And he said, had this person invested in his company, he would be involved in all of Christian stuff at this point. And he mentions that this person is paying off tuition to entire classes at HBCUs. Now, I'm not going to put the name out there because, again, until we have the proof, you just don't want to put that stuff out there. But you can do your research. It's not that hard to figure out who he's possibly talking about. So this is why I said it's more than one person. They keep focusing on one person, but he's talking about multiple people in this situation. You can tell Christian is really feeling it. You can tell he feels guilty. He even mentions that he should have said something sooner. He's probably thinking about all the victims that came behind him. So I commend him for stepping up and being brave to actually speak and say what happened to him. I will say this though, he mentions a couple of times that he purposely made sure that the statute of limitations were done. And he said it's not about the money. But from my understanding, statute of limitations is not about civil suits or about the money. It's also about the criminal side of it as well, if I'm not mistaken. Based on my research, if I am wrong, please put it in the comments section. So if the statute of limitations are over, and you're not in it for the money, why are you taking it to the police? Because he mentioned he was going to take everything to the police. I don't know if they're going to do anything with it if this happened a long time ago and the statute of limitations are over. But you guys let me know if that is true or not. And if he can't file a criminal case and it's not about the money, what is holding him back from saying the names at this point? What's holding him back? I don't know if an attorney advised him to do the Instagram live and, state that, but I'm curious to know what's holding him back because at this point, you know, if we have that many predators out there, which I believe we do, the only way that we're going to hopefully stop this is to expose these people. And he's absolutely right. People look at these celebrities, they look at these entertainers, these people who are in film and TV, in sports, and they look at them like they're demigods. They look at them like, they have this idolatry, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like when you really look at it, some of these big names that you guys probably admire so much, as we've seen with the Diddy situation, you don't know what they have done to get to those heights. You don't know what they've done. So I know that he's probably thinking, like he said, if I say something, you guys are probably going to look at this, deity, like, this is your idol. You're probably going to blame me. And then he also mentioned peers blaming him because of, this could possibly affect their work. At the end of the day, truth is truth. And if there are other victims out there, this stuff needs to be exposed. It just does. But I wanted to talk about the difference between Christian coming out versus Terry Crews.
While at a party with my wife, I was sexually assaulted by a successful Hollywood agent. The assault lasted only minutes, but what he was effectively telling me while he held my genitals in his hand was that he held the power, that he was in control.
But has there been retaliation against you for what you are saying now to the public?
Thank you for your question, Senator. One specific incident of retaliation was I've done 3 movies called The Expendables with Sylvester Stallone. The producer of that film called my manager and asked him to drop my case in order for me to be in the 4th installment of the movie. And if I didn't, there would be trouble.
Now, when Terry and his wife came out about his experience with SA, not only did he drop names, but he went to the Senate about his concerns and about his actual experience of being SA'd. And he got the complete opposite from what I remember. There were people in the industry, especially Black men like him, who were making fun of him. They even mentioned, like, you have all of those muscles. Like, how can someone do that to you? And with Christian, it's totally different right now. No one is really saying that. No one is really making fun of him. Now, mind you, both of them have muscles. Okay? Terry Crews is stacked with muscles as well as Christian. Okay? We cannot, you put both of them together, they both take care of themselves. There's no denying that. But why is there a difference with Terry versus Christian? And what I found out is both of them have similarities. Like, both of them are from Michigan, Flint, Michigan at that. I found that to be interesting while I was doing my research. But I wanted to bring up the stereotypes that people in general go through, but especially people in the industry go through. And this is why I named this actual video The Buck versus the Mulatto. If you guys do your research, there were definitely different stereotypes, character stereotypes that were constantly portrayed in film and television, especially in the beginning of film and television, where you had the buck, and the buck was considered violent, was considered a thug, was considered hypersexual, a lot of things, versus the mulatto, or they would call it the tragic mulatto, was someone who was sensitive, someone who was thinking about unaliving themselves. And so it makes me wonder if this is the same mentality that people are having on how they're treating Christian versus how they're treating Terry. Terry is supposed to be the Black man who's big, who's strong, who's deeply melanated. So he can't have these moments. At least that's what people were trying to say. He can't have these moments. He can't allow someone to do that to him. He should have knocked them out. He's supposed to get angry. He's supposed to get mad. He's supposed to literally body slam this person. That's what they assume about him. And I'm sure, especially in the beginning of his career, those are the type of the roles that he constantly got. If you remember, I think he was in Friday After Next. We know the role he was playing. He played Damon. He also played a gang member in Training Day. He was in that movie as well. So, not only do these men have to fight those stereotypes in television and film, in their occupation, in their profession, but those same stereotypes actually happen to them, in my opinion, when they're off camera. Because look at the difference. Look at the difference on how they made fun of Terry versus so many people supporting Christian right now. So this is going to be quite interesting to see exactly what will happen with Christian as far as if he's going to be made fun of. So far, I haven't seen anything like that. More than anything, they are attacking the man that they are assuming that Christian is talking about. But I haven't seen celebrities or other people making fun of Christian in this situation. And I said, I have to make this video because what's the difference? What's the difference? And, I definitely have done my research. There's plenty of books out there on the stereotypes that Black women and men have gone through when it comes to the entertainment industry, and how we, as our own people, we will project those stereotypes still on our people. We will, because this is a true example of that. Terry Crews actually dropped the name. And he wasn't afraid to speak up, and his wife wasn't afraid to speak up, but he was made fun of. 50 Cent, Russell Simmons. There was a couple people who made fun of him. But Christian is getting way more support. Do you guys find that strange? But you guys let me know what you think. Do you feel that there is a difference on how they're being treated just based off of the stereotypes and the assumption of how they look? One possibly can't handle themselves while the other one can. Regardless, essay is essay. It's quite ridiculous for people to think that way. But the reality is this is it's obvious at this point that there was a different viewpoint when Terry came out versus Christian. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you agree with what I'm saying or if you don't agree. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.